The village of Blacka Hill was once known as Bleak Hill. As we set out with this film to unveil the origins of this former identity, this unacknowledged mythology was to prove elusive each step of the way. Therefore, we were soon to realise that to bring it to light, we would have to dig deeper into the foundations of the village and its own people.
William Guest, he was a builder, and he actually built a lot of the houses on Blacka Hill. Martin Lane, he built Vernon Lodge, which at one stage, one room was actually, he let it out for Blacka Hill Club because it didn't have a building. Was also the stonemason for Wentworth Castle. He built the old school on Blacka Hill. He built a lot of the houses on Wentworth Road. He built Ivy Cottages. He's also Doris Smith's great-grandfather. He did a lot in the community. For the war, he had a big bonfire type thing at the end of the war.
Well, my great-great-granddad built the house what we used to live in, Vernon Lodge, and that was called Blacka House. But then when they went to work for Burnham Wentworth, it was called Vernon Lodge. Well, we used to go, most of them went to either church or a chapel, and if you went to church, they used to put there was a caravan used to come, and it used to have a lantern service and things like that. We were mostly friendly, very friendly village, you know. Everybody went round one another, helping one another, especially during the war when the rations were on. You only got a small amount of butter and lard and things. And you always had to take your gas mask with you. If you had the sirens going, you'd got to move it, even if you were in school, you had to move into a shelter and things like that. So it was pretty hard going. There weren't none dropped on Blacka Hill, but there was some at Wood Green, and there were incendiary bombs what they dropped first off, but we think they just missed the chemical works, because the chemical works at Blacka Hill was built by the Germans, and they called them Duckums, and so we think they were after those, but they just missed them because they dropped them at Wood Green. So we were lucky. Oh, it changed a lot after the war, because it was a lot better for us, because we had no buses on the hill. We used to have to walk onto Platt's Common or up to Worsborough Park for a bus, and going to, if you wanted to go into Barnsley.
With the pit being where it was, they've put houses up for the miners and what have you, and it's just grew from there. I was led to believe it was known as Bleak Hill. It's just a nickname because it was a hamlet originally, and it was pretty desolate and very open, and with very little traffic, if any. It was just horse and cart, which used to come up with the milk and what have you. And I believe that is why it was nicknamed as Bleak Hill. Nobody really wanted to live here because it was so open.
Bleak Hill is where you are now. It was known as Bleak Hill years and years and years ago, 17th century. And in the 18th century, at 19th, it was known as Lower Blacka and Upper Blacka.
Bob, you're in the anyway.
And you are now in Upper Blacka. You know where Mr. Chamber lives? Down at Woodyard.
Oh yeah.
That's Lower Blacka.
That's Lower Blacka. Now, there were Hartley's, Joe MacDonald, which is up in the middle, then Hudson's next door, and Joe MacDonald shut shop up just after, well, about 1938.
Oh, from my time.
About 1938. Well, we moved down there in 1936.
Send me another one.
No electric, I believe, then it was all
gas.
Must be a pit behind there.
paraffin lamps and
candles.
what the house, it all go what the house.
And no back to work. Tin back from the fire.
That's the old timber.
He's in combat charger and a pushback, mountain bike. Now I'm seeing him going on island. Pushback or walking. When I'm going to school, I'm racing. That baby. Standing Joe like between me and him.
Years back, the village belonged to villagers, didn't it?
And there was some right devils and all.
They don't know, do they?
Old as Remy lived down here, down there. But I walked past his house, he was waiting back at the door, bucket of water, and throw a bucket of water through. That way went through when I got there.
Now that's entertainment.
They'll get the backside tanned, meaning you'll get into trouble. That's that one. Shall I put a brush up my arse and brush floors at the same time? Do you want me to do 2 jobs at once? Right. Have a laking out, and that means basically, are you coming out to play?
When the war was over, everybody joined together in the village and they said they'd celebrate. And it was very hard because the ration, things were still on the ration then. And we had a big table and that, and everybody had a tea, and we had a Victory Queen, which I was Victory Queen, and with 2 attendants, Monica Linley and Joan Staniforth. And we went on a dray, like they used to have a dray from the farm and a horse, and we decorated it up, and we rode round the village on this dray. And there was a homemade band that got 2 dustbin lids and clanged them together, and one played a bazooka and all homemade things, you know, to make a band up.
Last year we had our first gala in nearly 20 years, and it was sort of quite rushed, so it wasn't as big as what we wanted it, but it was a good day despite the weather, and we did raise some funds. But this year it's a little bit more organised. It's going to be a lot bigger, and we want to have a gala king and queen. We want to ask them what they intend to bring to the village for the year of rain, being as they are children and they can communicate better with other children as what adults will do. But what will they do to promote Blacka Hill, to make them proud of their village, to make them proud of the fact that they've been chosen to represent Blacka Hill? I believe the Convicts Tunnel was built in 1804 by convicts, and if you look inside there's markings on the stone where people couldn't write the name, so they've left the mark to say that they've done it.
I know, my dad knows, is there were convicts brought in for cheap labour to build the railways. And in the 1850s, 1860s, convicts had got no choice but to go out and work. They didn't get paid for it, same as they do now. And basically, any hard labour, they used them. If they died on the job, they died on the job, rather than dying in prison. And every convict marked his own stonework. When you go and look inside it, every brick's got a certain cross on it, or a marking on it, or a square on it. So it's always been known as the Convicts Tunnel. But I've never seen no written down saying where they came from, who they were, what prison they came from. But the closest to here, 1800s, the closest to being Wakefield, wasn't it? Wakefield or Leeds. Because Leeds was still running then, done the line as far as it'll go. Got the prisoners off the train, which would have been just carriages, made them work and put more stretchers in, and then they moved on the week after. So that's the Convicts Tunnel.
It was the year before plant was built, but plant, they didn't build that plant until 1936. And donkey pond, there were a pump outside that pond, and it used to pump water to Blackham and Peak. It used to pump water from there to Blackham and Peak. And when we went down Wortleyville in 36, pump was still there. We were there, no lot, and the chimney was still there.
I remember the chimney being blown up.
And then when Gunley Delta got drowned in it pond, that's when they blew the chimney down.
Nowadays it's used for fishing. Kids hang around it, fishing in it, and not a lot else actually.
Across the outskirts of Blacka Hill, the children create a world of their own. Yet they remain conscious of the relatively bleak reality surrounding them. Their activities spring as much out of boredom as they do of a necessity to see something flourish someday.
Overall, I think it's a bit boring on this village.
Yep, same here.
And then they complain when we try to get out of it.
Try to get out of the way and then we get done for it.
We could just have just see if it's even just a shed or something, near something, and we could just all chill in it. It's just full of old people and it's just boring because we can't do note for them all.
But now it's not going to be a village because they're meant to be building on them fields and all the way up in them fields and at back at top houses.
So it's like an estate.
Like up at Centre, we've been on about it, right?
Yeah.
We could have a film night, cinema thing.
Cinema thing.
I know Centre was supposed to be for us, they built it for us and we can't go in it. We can only go in it when you come.
You're going to be having 19.
Ages ago we did a litter pick around village.
And park.
Yeah. Like this farmer could come up to us and just say what you're doing this for, and we could say for environment and he wouldn't believe us and he'd take it to the police, and then we got police knocking at us doors, and it's not fair. We've been asked to do stuff, right, and most of the people approved it, but there's always one that don't, so...
We need to
be tidying Donkey Pond and all that's good.
Yeah.
And they've just been helping and destroying environment.
I think we're helping nature out though, we're cleaning that out and that.
Yeah, we're helping woods because other people don't even put bricks around the barbecue and stuff, and we do. When we're in summer, we put bricks around barbecue, and other people just burn. There's a man who lives on Woodhead Drive, and every time we build something like a den or something in woods to get out of the way,
he
always burns it down or destroys it or something. So
we had a tree house and it was there for about 2 days and they burnt it down.
I've got a person who lived down from me called Geraldino. And he's a right nosy Parker. He walks in his house without knocking, he just walks in. And next time I'm going to floor him. I will drop him like a sack of potatoes.
That is cheeky though, isn't it?
Yeah.
We cleared it all out, so little tunnel things coming down, and it was all blocked up, so we cleared that out and it's flowing better and it's getting cleared out.
Yeah, and we've took all the top bit off there,
so it all
and
flows down
and
better.
it flows down better, and we're on cleaning all this now, so.
But that'll be a bit of a pain.
Yep.
And we found a load of dead frogs down there, which weren't very nice.
How many?
About 50.
Anything else?
No, that's it, thank you.
That is something we need to do, and something we need to look into. Stop the children from being bored. If we can make them a little bit proud of the village, and I'm sure there is a lot in Blacka Hill for people to be proud of, and I'm sure every parent is proud of their own child, and I'm sure we can make it a community again, not just a commuter belt. We can make it a village again, somewhere where people will be proud to come and live, and not just a quick to the motorway to work.